Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here and for spending this. Well, I don't know what time it is for you guys. For me, it's 7 p.m. I live in Barcelona and it is nightfall. It's dark. So I don't know where you guys are in part of the world. I'd actually would love to know, where are you all coming from? Sí, Israel. Sí, yo hablo español también. Sí. But I am from the state. Well, yeah, English is my first language, but I do speak Spanish fluently. Orange County, California. How is it going over there? I mean, I know that Orange County wasn't as affected by, well, it wasn't affected by the fires, but I'm sure that you guys have had some serious air movement. I'm just, how is it going? David is from Louisville, Kentucky. Houston, and Israel, you are from New Zealand. My grandfather's name was Israel, and my youngest son's middle name is Israel I guess, in memory of him, in honor of him. Yeah. There you go. His second name is Israel. Air issues. Oh, they're only in Los Angeles County. Oh, that's good. Okay, good. And we have from Vegas, Ipkir, I think. Is that your name? Upstate New York. Well, I'm not sure what your name is, Special Quan. Which part of upstate New York? I grew up in Rockland County and I studied in upstate New York in Oneonta, but we used to go a lot in all over upstate New York to Ellenville. Oh, I can't remember the names anymore. So which part of upstate New York are you from? Yeah, I haven't been there in years, years. It's so beautiful there. People don't realize how big and beautiful New York State is. Whenever you hear people say New York, they automatically just think right away New York City area, but it is New York State, I think. I don't know. It's almost the size of Texas, right? I think from one end to the other, it'll take you like 12 hours to drive. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for being here. And I'm really, really excited for you guys to join. I am Marina, the Trader Chick, and this is me. And today I actually have a really interesting question for you guys. Who is interested? Who likes Cirque du Soleil? Tell me who likes Cirque du Soleil, because I have to tell you guys, I absolutely love Cirque du Soleil. It has been a massive, massive tradition for me and my youngest son, because it's just what him and I do is like the mama and son thing. I also have a older son, but he's not into Cirque du Soleil like my youngest. And probably for 5, 6 years in a row, other than COVID, we go to Cirque du Soleil. So we used to live in Guatemala. We lived in Guatemala for 14 years. So we used to go and watch it there. And now that we moved to Barcelona, we went and saw it here as well. And I love Cirque du Soleil. And why am I bringing this up to you guys? Why does Cirque du Soleil have anything to do with day trading? Because one thing that I noticed while we were there, because if you have been to Cirque du Soleil, if you have seen Cirque du Soleil, if you have heard about Cirque du Soleil, it is extraordinary what they do, right? Like, it's not even a show, it's more of an experience. And watching these people who are people like you and I, what they do is absolutely mind-boggling, right? And what I was watching and I was realizing, but they're not anything special. They're literally ordinary humans who have trained themselves to do extraordinary things, right? And what I was thinking to myself was, what does it take to go from an ordinary person to become extraordinary? Because it's the exact same thing as from somebody who is an amateur trader who wants to be a trader who's failing and who becomes an actual successful day trader, right? It's the same thing, but it seems to make a little bit more sense when we're looking at Cirque du Soleil. We're like, oh yeah, well, for sure, they put in years of training and practice. Yet when we want to become day traders, right? Like when we get the interest, the spark in us, oh, I want to learn how to day trade. What happens? We just go full force into the market, putting our hard-earned money into the market. There's zero training, there's zero understanding, there's zero strategy, right? We spend all this money on entering chat rooms, on buying alerts, because we just want the easy way out, right? But what we do not do, what a lot of people didn't do, as a matter of fact, I think 98% of the people that pretend or say that they are day traders fail, right? I mean, I think it's like that high of a number. And why is that? So let's go back and understand, what do Cirque du Soleil players, performers do? Number one, their commitment. Their commitment is uncanny, right? Like they have years of training and they perfect their mastery. And it is an understanding, right? They won't just jump on a high wire and start walking, right? Yet people put in the thousands of dollars into the market without zero understanding how the market's working. Okay. Number two, what's the difference? Their intense focus. They are completely in the moment. Could you imagine somebody walking the high wire, carrying a person on their shoulders, and then checking Facebook, right? It sounds absolutely insane and ridiculous, but that's pretty much what's happening when we are trading, right? Like we are not present in the moment when our money is on the line. Discipline. We They show up day in and day out. They show up. They show up for work, they show up for training, they're disciplined. It is not something they're born with. They are constantly perfecting their craft, their discipline, right? Trust. They not only trust in themselves, but they trust in their partners, the routine that they are perfecting, and their equipment. What do we need as day traders? Okay. First of all, we need to have confidence in ourselves. And if we are not training ourselves, if we are just blindly throwing money at the market and losing, are we going to have trust in ourselves? No. Equipment. What equipment do we as traders need? Platforms. No matter what kind of a market you are trading in, I don't care what you trade. It could be Forex, crypto, equities, futures. You need the proper equipment. And what is that equipment? The charting software, right? I would never, I do not at all recommend anybody spending money on indicators and algorithms and all these other shiny little shiny objects, because they don't bring you anywhere closer to succeeding. They just take your money. So going back to the equipment, you do need to have a really strong software, a platform. You need a charting platform, right? But what absolutely amazes me is the amount of people that don't know how to use their platform, and they start to practice on their platform that they are learning how to use with live money. And of course, they're like putting in their money to buy a position, but they don't know how to use it properly. And all of a sudden, they're putting in as a sell. They get stopped out. Now they're lost money when all of this could be done in practice mode. That's what, people do. That's Cirque du Soleil performers. They practice before they hop on the high wire with their bicycle 60 feet off of the ground. You need to trust what you're doing. You need to trust your equipment. And confidence. Confidence and trust should almost go hand in hand, right? If you do not trust your strategy, your equipment, you're not going to have the proper confidence to get you going further, correct? So why is it that we are having so much difficulty with this? Imagine these guys and this woman for the first time, they decided today, right this minute, you know what? I want to be a Cirque du Soleil performer. I want to hop on a bicycle on a high wire, and I want to be riding with another person. And I'm going to do that tomorrow, right? It's ridiculous. Like if you think of it, you're just like, come on, man, that's absolutely crazy. If they do that, they're dead. Yet that's exactly what we're doing when we decide that we want to trade, because we think that what is happening in front of you right here, these people are technically almost millionaires in as Cirque du Soleil terms. Why? Because they perfected their craft, right? They put in the time to learn their craft, their strategies, their routines. If you guys are just going to be paying for alerts, for watching somebody else sit there, show you how they enter and exit, are you really gonna be able to do this kind of a high wiring act? Never, right? Never. You need to understand how to do it yourselves. And until then, I don't care how many places you are spending your money, how much software you're pretending to buy, how much money you're putting into the market, you are gonna be losing. So for me today, my goal is to bring you back to the basics, to show you how you can start and how you could fully understand. And once you understand, once you have that strategy and understanding, then you could pay for those alerts. Then you could pay for those chat rooms. Then you can listen and hear what others are saying, because you will understand why they are doing what they are doing, and you will be able to go along. You cannot just blindly go and listen to some you don't even know who or what they're doing, selling you stuff because you want to get rich because you've got some cash. And that is the reality of the trading industry. So let's really take our matters into our own hands. Let's learn, guys. And it's the best part of it all is that it's not hard, right? And that is literally what the Cirque du Soleil's performers and day traders have in common. And it's way more than you think, right? Because that 5% of day traders that are succeeding, this is what they are going to be doing. So let's focus on that. What can we do differently than the ones that are failing? And I am going to be focusing on that one specific thing today that I can guarantee will take you to that next level. I can guarantee it, and you don't have to worry about anything else. You do not have to worry about understanding what is going on, because you will understand trends. Okay. I know everybody here is probably, well, yeah, there's an upward trend and there's a downward trend. Sure. But there's also the sideways trend, and the sideways trend is literally, well, where all the money gets lost. And if you speak to any pro trader, they will tell you, if you do not understand how the sideways trend works, you will continue losing all your money, regardless of how well you understand the upward trend or the downward trend. And once you understand all of this, then you could get into those high probability trade setups. Now, before I continue, because we only have less than an hour together, I have the entire presentation 100% for free. So you guys could download it right now. You could download it and you could use it as I am going with you right now. And also David sends replays. So then you will have the presentation that you could work with it. Now, go here, makingofadaytrader.com. Go here right now, put it into your browser, and you can take a screenshot of this makingofadaytrader.com so that you can put it into your browser, and you'll be able to get the presentation right away for free. So go and do that right now. Before I start, I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds to put it in right now, makingofadaytrader.com. And let's follow along. First and foremost, I want to do a really quick intro and who I am. I am Marina, the Trader Chick. As I mentioned earlier, I do live in Barcelona, Spain. I am an expat here. I have actually been an expat now for over 22 years. We were expats. We lived first in Guatemala for 14 years. I lived in Costa Rica before that, and now we've been living in Barcelona for 2 years. Before I was a day trader, I was a fitness instructor and a travel writer. Why is this important? Because the amount of people that want to get into day trading and again throw their market, or I call it donate, excuse me, donate their money to the market, have these misconceptions that they needed to come from a math background, or they needed to be a financial background, engineering or software. None of that is true. None of that is true. I was a fitness instructor, and I'm still a travel writer. I still have a travel site. Okay. You do not need any of that. What you do need is the time and the understanding behind how it works. And anybody could become a day trader. And the other thing is that I am trilingual. Why am I talking about being trilingual? So I don't know if anybody in this group here is has a second language. That is completely and totally not me. So I'm sorry, I don't know who this person is, but I can guarantee you I have the highest rate ever. Anyways, oops, sorry. Okay, guys, so why am I trilingual? First of all, I was born in the Soviet Union. I am a refugee from the Soviet Union. I first spoke Russian. And when I arrived to the United States, I was 6 years old. So I didn't actually learn a new language. I kind of continued learning a language, and that was English. So I didn't really actually learn English. What I did, though, learn was Spanish in my later years. I was in my mid-20s when I learned Spanish. And when I learned Spanish, again, you have to commit, right? Here's another example. When you enter a room full of Spanish speakers and you don't know how to communicate without even saying, hola, mi nombre es, are you going to have a full-on conversation with these people? No, right? You're not going to have a conversation with these people because you won't understand a word they're saying. Yet, people believe I have a little bit of money. I'm just going to go right into the market. And guess what? Boom, you're going to lose your money because you didn't understand what the market is telling you. And that is one thing that I recognize as a trilingual person, that the market does have its own language. It speaks to us. It speaks to us. And that is the absolute beauty of it all. Okay, it speaks to us, and I want to show you guys how you'll be able to understand it just the same. All right, so let's get ready. And the coolest thing about day trading, you can do it from anywhere. All right, guys, go right here, makingofadaytrader.com, makingofadaytrader.com. Get your free presentation so you guys could go along with me. All right, so every performer starts with learning the basics. Okay. Awesome. I'm happy to hear that, Israel. Every performer in Cirque du Soleil starts with learning the basics, right? This is how they grow their confidence. So once you master the basics, once you understand the routine, then you are able to move up correctly. So look at this guy right here. This guy started on the ground when he first wanted to do aerial tricks, right? 60 feet off the ground. So you start with the basics. When you go and see a Cirque du Soleil show, I can guarantee you, I can bet my life on it, that they all started on the floor in the most basic routines. Let's do the same for day trading. I want to teach you guys these. So once you are able to fully understand and master these, guess what? You will be able to truly grow with your trading. So what are the 4 basics? It's literally like learning how to be a tightrope walker. They start at the ground before they make it up here. We're going to start at the ground so that you guys could fly in your trading as well. All right, let's jump on that tightrope and let's go. Market movement and the breakdown of the trends. The sideways trend is where all of your money will be taken. All right. So day trading on a whole is an emotional activity. Okay. If you don't watch it with a valid point, like logistically, if you're not understanding what is happening, you're going to be just doing nothing but emotional reactions. And when you do emotional reactions, guess what happens? You start to go blind and not take valid trades. And when it comes down to trading, I don't care how many times you're going to hear you could get rich, you could you could do this, you could do that. I don't care how much you guys are hearing that. None of it is true if you don't understand what you are doing. I need for people to understand this because I am so sad for people that come to me every day. They're like, oh my God, I just lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Can you please help me figure this out? They came to me too late. They were blinded. They wanted to save their father because their father was in the hospital. They needed to make more money, and they just put their all of their money in there without understanding what they're doing. They became more emotional. They started to revenge trade, and this happens all the time. Trading is not about making money. It's about making the right decisions. When you make the right decisions, you make money. You are not going to get into a car and never ever being in a car, turn it on, and then get on the highway, right? That is a bad decision with a 99.9% chance of getting into a car crash, correct? Stop the car crashes, guys. You could figure it out. Let's turn on that engine. Let's take it slow. Understand the trends. All right. We all know that logistically there is an upward trend, there is a downward trend, but the sideways trend, until you master it and understand it, you will keep on losing your money in it. So I'm going to teach you now how to recognize them, how to avoid them, and the best part of all, knowing when they are either breaking out or transitioning into a new trend, and that's where you make the real money. All right, so what is an upward trend? I'm going to explain it to you in really easy terms. Upward trend is where each pivot is higher than the next. This is where you enter a buy. This is where you are going to go long. What does that mean? You're just entering at a lower price point, exiting at a higher price point, and boom, you take the profit in between, right? Each pivot is higher than the other pivot. What is a downward trend? This is where you are shorting the market. This is where you are selling. You are taking a short position. You do not want to overthink this, guys. Don't overthink this. Don't be thinking to yourself or out loud even, oh, but somebody is losing when I am selling. Who is that somebody? Who cares? The amount of people that constantly are like, oh, well, if I'm going to sell, that means somebody is buying. Who is that somebody? They don't care who you are. Why would you care about them? If your technical analysis is telling you that you need to enter a short, do it, because traders make more money on the short than they do on the longs. Okay, what is a short position? What does it mean where you are selling? It literally means you are entering at a higher price point, you exit at a lower price point, and you take the money in between. Your profit is in between. And yes, it looks like it's going down, but who cares? It's the technical analysis, okay? Now, let's really dive into those consolidation areas, into those transition areas, because those are the trader's worst enemy. So what is this? Consolidation area, the slowdown, the you call it the chop, the exhaustion pattern, the indecision zone, the channel. I don't care what you call it. It is literally a sideways movement with absolutely no momentum. Okay, look at what's happening here. It's between these two areas. Does it look like the market is going to go somewhere? No, right? It's just bouncing in between those two areas. And when you see that, you want to do a very important move. And that move is you want to sit out. So here is the thing. I'm going to break this down for you very simply. Number one, there are only two types of traders in the world. Yes, there might be millions and millions of traders, but there's only two categories of traders. One is the trend is your friend trader, right? That means, what does that mean? That they look at the market and they think, well, if the market is trending up, it's got to continue. Or if the market is trending down, it's going to continue. And then there is the contrarian trader. When they look at a market, when it's going sideways and the markets, let's say, has been going up for a long period of time, they're not going to say, well, the market is just going to continue going up. On the contrary, they are contrarians. They're going to be like, you know what? The market's been going up all day. It's got to correct. I'm going to short that market. So here's the third category of traders, and that is the pro trader. Why did I say that it is almost non-existent? Because there are only about 2% of the whole wild world traders out there that are truly doing it. And the pro trader, they just look at this as a sideways market. They do not have any story attached to it. They do not say, well, it's been going up all day, it's going to continue, or it's been going up all day, it's got to correct. No, what they're looking at and saying, you know what? The market is sideways. It doesn't know where it's going to go. I'm going to sit this one out. Now, you need to understand that you need to obviously draw in these areas. You need to understand these areas. You need to see them to be able to make that decision. So when you are able to spot these areas, you'll understand you need to sit out. So traders have three things they do, three actions that they take. One is knowing when to get in. Two, knowing when to get out of a trade. And three, and probably the least utilized, but the most important, and that is knowing when to sit out entirely. Okay, knowing when to sit out entirely. I don't know if any of you guys had ever seen that show, The Crown, on Netflix. It's a really, really brilliant show. Anyways, there's this one episode where Queen Elizabeth just becomes, she just goes through her coronation and she just becomes the Queen of England. She's super young and she's sitting and having a conversation with the Queen Mother, with her mother, and she wants to do all these things. And the Queen Mother, who is now much more experienced, she says, the most important action you will ever take as a queen is inaction. Because inaction is actually a lot more energy invested behind that action. And we as traders need to apply that energy, that action into the inaction. And that means knowing when to sit out of those trades. All right, guys, knowing when to sit out is probably more important than knowing when to get in and knowing when to get out. Seriously. All right, because that's when you keep yourself out of bad trades. You keep that money in the bank and you are prepared for the good trades. All right, and these happen all the time. So you need to understand them. You need to see when they happen so that you could stay out of them. Now, how do we mark off these areas? How do we know when the sideways trend, the consolidation area is happening? The market respects these channels, these areas, and we as the retail individual traders need to as well. And the way we do that is through support and resistance areas. Why are they so important? So to me, the support and resistance areas, they are literally as important as seatbelts. I actually call them, that is how we hedge our security, how we are protecting ourselves in the market. So what is a support area? Support area is literally when the market has been going down and it starts to hit the floor of the market 3 or 4 or more times. That is a support area. Okay, we need to be able to spot it. And most importantly of all, we need to draw it in. So drawing it in is literally putting in that seatbelt and clipping it in. If you're just going to say, oh, there's a support area and it's a mental support area, it's literally the same as a mental seatbelt, right? You pretend that it's there, but during an accident and during the chaos, when you really need it, your mind is not going to be strong enough to remember that, right? And you're not going to be able to clip it in. So you need to draw those areas in. And any good charting software, and there's many today, some of them are actually free, by the way. The majority of them are free today. They all have drawing tools and you need to draw them out so that you are able to recognize the channels, those sideways movements. The resistance area, this is the ceiling of the market. This is when the market is going upward. It's an upward trend and all of a sudden it just starts to hit that ceiling over and over and over again. Guess what? Guess what, guys? When it's hitting that ceiling over and over again, it's not going through it. We need to be able to understand that. This is our seatbelt. So when we clip it in by drawing in that resistance area, we are now sitting out and waiting until the market either bounces off and goes into a new trend or it breaks through that trend. But if you don't have it drawn in, you will not understand what is going on. The other really important thing to understand, when you are actually in the live market with your live money, we always say in the trading world, everything important is to the left of the chart. What does that mean? When you are in the live trade, your adrenaline is pumping as if though you are in a Formula One car, right? It is full on. And if you are going to look to the left of your chart and nothing is drawn in, you are not going to understand why you took that decision of entering that trade in the first place, right? But if you have your support area drawn in, if you have your resistance area drawn in, if you're understanding what is going on, you are going to be like, wait, I need to relax because I have done my job. I have done my job. I have understood why I entered that trade and I am confident with my decision. Now, how do we recognize these areas when they are just beginning? Because it's one thing when they're already, taking place, and usually you will most likely lose in the very beginning of it. But when you start to understand why you lost, you're not going to continue by making revenge trades or telling yourself it's going to continue, right? Making emotionally bad decisions. So you can start to actually recognize these areas in the very beginning of them forming, and you're able to sit out and understand when it's happening, and you're able to get in when it is either done or transition. And those areas, that is recognized through reversal patterns and divergences. And to me, They are truly the trader's map to shift in directions and trends and my personal holy grails. And the coolest thing of it all, the best part of it all, is that they are really simple to understand. And when you finally understand them, you're going to have massive aha moments. They're amazing. So, what are reversal patterns? Double tops, triple tops, double bottoms, triple bottoms, head and shoulders. Now, when you are seeing these reversal patterns, does that mean that there's an actual reversal happening or about to happen? No. But what it is showing you is that there is a very high probability for it to happen. So when it does happen, you are already prepared to enter that new transition, right? Now, the other thing is divergence. For me, divergence is by far my favorite thing out there. It is my holy grail. What is divergence? So you can look here. I have my price action is going down, and then there is a perfect double bottom, right? It is flat. The price action is flat. But if you look at below, my red dots, those red dots are my MACDs. I love the MACDs. I find them to be probably the least lagging indicator, and they are very simple to understand. And when my MACDs start to do the opposite, or they are divergent of what the price action is doing, I know one thing for sure: the market is losing its steam entirely. It is slowing down. It is stopping. Okay. It is really, really important for me to know that, and for me to be able to be like, you know what? I don't want to be in this market. I don't want my money in a market that has absolutely no strength. And that is exactly what divergence shows me. And when I have divergence and reversal patterns, the chances of a reversal happening is almost 90%. So then I sit out even longer knowing that it's about to happen. Now, I just want you guys to see something really interesting. There is a double bottom right here, and you can see the divergence, right? However, look a little bit more to the left. You can see that the price action is showing a very significant downtrend, yet my MACDs are already starting to flatten out, right? What is that telling me? It's telling me the market is slowing down. It's losing its strength. Stay out. So it's actually telling me way before it happens. And that is the beauty of understanding the market. And guess what, guys? This is free. There is no need for any fancy schmancy indicators right there in front of you. This is it. It's showing you everything. And when you start to recognize it and listen to it, it will absolutely revolutionize your trading. And that I know for a fact. I guarantee that. All right. When you start to recognize these small, fun technical analysis indicators, everything will change for you. And guess what? That's when you'll be able to start to recognize the breakout. The breakout is without a doubt the most powerful trade out there. But if you don't recognize it, if you are not spotting it properly, you're going to miss out. So let's understand, what is the breakout trade? What is a breakout trade? So if it is for an upward trend, if you are headed up, right? If this is a full on upward trend, but all of a sudden it totally slows down and becomes a sideways trend where you're not sure what's going to happen, you sit out, you wait, and all of a sudden, boom, it continues in the same direction. That is what a breakout is. All right. So let's put all of this together again. You could go here, makingofadaytrader.com, get your cheat sheet, because everything that I just went over is in that free cheat sheet for you. Again, you could go along with me right now, but even better, when David sends the replay, you could then go at your own speed. All right, so let's talk about these breakouts, because breakouts are the most popular. They are the most often trade that you could take, and usually the highest probability trade. But if you don't understand why and how, you're going to be missing out on these beautiful setups. So again, you're going in one direction, and all of a sudden there is a massive slowdown, a sideways movement, just flatlining. And then boom, it breaks out. You want to get in as early as possible of that breakout. And I'm going to show you now how to do this. So I only use two indicators. I only use two indicators. I use my EMA lines, which is the exponential moving averages, and I use the MACDs. So you can look here below on the MACDs, right? So the MACDs, that black dash line, what does that show? The black dash line is the zero line. It shows where there is the least strength in the market. Now, we have, as you can notice, it's pretty weak, right? Where you see the resistance area, you could also spot that it's pretty weak. It's kind of just hanging out by the zero line. But all of a sudden, boom, it flies up and breaks out. That is how we recognize. But if you don't have that resistance area drawn in, guess what? You're going to miss it. You're not even going to notice when it happens. And drawing is so simple. It's free. And it's just, it makes sense, right? It's literally like you drawing or writing to yourself different steps, action steps you need to take and following those action steps. That is exactly what is happening here. So if you're not drawing them out, you're going to miss them out. But if you're not recognizing the resistance areas, the support areas, then you're really not understanding what is happening in the market, correct? Now, bonus tip. This is something that I want to give you as a bonus tip from what I recognize with Cirque du Soleil performers. And this is massive. They dominate one area. They only dominate one area. Let me explain that to you a little bit easier in day trading terminology. They focus on one market. Okay, now imagine this woman who we could easily say has mastered this particular acrobatic movement, right? Is she going to get in and start doing motorcycle moves? No way, right? Oops, sorry. Hang on a second. She's not going to become a motorcycle and, one of those crazy motorcycle movements, correct? She is going to stick to her thing. Day traders, especially beginners, amateurs, they want to go into equities, futures, crypto, options, you name it. And they think the more they are doing, meaning the more kind of tricks this woman is going to be doing, that she's going to become more successful. No, she's going to get worse and worse. And when you go into many different markets, you're just going to be losing a lot more money because you have not mastered that one specific move. Okay, day trading, we do not want to diversify, guys. You want to just understand the one thing you're doing, and when you master it, then you can move on to the next. All right, think of this woman. Is she gonna start riding a bike on a high wire? No, that is not her mastery. Okay, and pro traders, they have their one, maybe two markets that they are mastering. That is the most important part of all. Okay, she is not going to start doing a motorcycle act. That is for sure. She's going to stick to what she understands. And aspiring traders, they constantly want to trade multiple instruments, but dominating just the one is going to be your magic pill. Now, again, making of a day trader, get your cheat sheet, and let's figure this out. So here's the thing, guys. We have absolutely everything we need to take action, right? We have everything we need to take action at our fingertips. We have these free summits. We have presentations. We have YouTubers. We have podcasts, books, live events, you name it. Okay. And paid chat rooms and alert rooms. But how do you know that you are doing it right? How do you know that you are doing it right? Who is there to guide you, to help you, for you to fully understand? Because all of this is great. All of this is great, but then you really get to ask yourself, like, but how do I really get started? How do I really, really do this? I don't understand. And this isn't from beginners only. I get this question from seasoned traders all the time. And they ask me, what can I do to turn this around? What can I do to finally become profitable consistently? And honestly, guys, it boils down to the basics. It boils down to understanding the basic technical analysis, understanding the price action, understanding the instrument that you are truly wanting to learn. It is understanding and usually lacking the basics. Another way of saying this is you are constantly putting in windows, but the windows are crashing because you've never built the wall, that solid wall of bricks that holds up those windows. And that is what lacking the basics really is all about. It's literally getting into the car and not having any idea where the accelerator is, where the brake is, where the clutch is, where the gear shifts are, right? That's the basics of driving. We forget that when we first entered the car, there were basics that we learned. And there's a strategy that we learn when we're driving, right? We don't just get on the highway and go crazy. We don't just get on the roads and start going wherever. There are traffic lights, there are yield signs, there are stop signs. That's part of a strategy, which we at one point learned. And if you don't know that, you are just doomed, right? And I want you to get really, really, really creative in your mind just for a few seconds. Imagine somebody gets into your car who has never been in a car before, and you tell them, all right, buckle up, it's going to save your life. And they're like, buckle up. What am I buckling up? What's going to save my life? Nobody is born with this information. We are not born with this information, guys. We learn it. And a lot of times, especially in the trading world, it is overlooked. And this was my own personal sad truth. I had spent over $20,000 on my own personal trainings. No joke. I did that. I did the academies. I did the chat rooms, the alert rooms. I bought all these softwares and indicators. It didn't matter. It did not matter because after years and years of struggling, I was still losing money, and to the point where I lost almost $4,000 in 5 minutes. Why? Because every time I asked a question about something basic, can you please explain a divergence? Can you please show me how to do the support and resistance areas? I was either treated as if though I was born with that information, or even worse, fully ignored, right? And after I ended up losing another $4,000, and at this point, I've already lost quite a lot more, I quit. I just quit. I could not take it anymore because at this point, I felt like a total loser. I felt like I was just doing nothing but losing my family's money. I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere because I wasn't understanding what was going on. I was trying to constantly follow what somebody else was doing, but I didn't understand why they were doing it. And after that last 4,000 loss, I just quit. I quit. I walked away and I couldn't handle it anymore. But here's the thing, guys. Every single person in this room probably can relate that we are all bit by the trading bug. We are all bit by it, and it never stops itching, right? It never stops itching. And you know why that is? Because deep down inside, we know that we could do this. And that is exactly what happened to me. I quit for probably around 4 months, and then I came back. So at one point, I had 3 monitors, 3 charts, 10 indicators. When I came back after the 4 month, quit, I had a breakdown actually. It was really severe. It was really sad, but I just couldn't stay away because I knew that I could do this. What was I missing? So I came back. I literally donated 2 of my monitors to, well, I call it donated, but I threw it out. I'm sure the garbage men just took them or whatever they did with it. I also removed all of my indicators and I was on just the naked price action. Yeah, I was just watching the naked charts of the price. And then I started to slowly put in the indicators. So one thing that I did realize was we have this misconception that if one person is saying that they're using this indicator, another person is saying this indicator, that we want to use those indicators without really understanding if they work for us. I had 10 indicators going. When I removed my indicators, especially the Bollinger Bands, Kepler Bands, and the Fibonacci's, I felt this massive relief, like this huge load off my shoulders. And that's when I started to see the market differently. I wasn't following somebody else's story. I started to create my own. I started to listen to the basics. And that's when I came back to the basics and I studied them for years. And to this day, that is what I truly believe in. And it's interestingly enough, a couple of years back, one of my students says to me, Marina, your teaching strategy and philosophy is very similar to Coach John Wooden. And I never heard of Coach John Wooden before. And I'm like, who is this guy? So of course I had to look him up. And if any of you guys know who Coach John Wooden is, I mean, this guy is incredible. He was a legendary coach. I mean, he was brilliant. And his entire teaching philosophy and training philosophy, when in doubt, get back to the basics. And I mean, this guy had 88 national championships, 10 NCAAs. He trained A-star players, but it did not matter because he knew how ego could get to you. So every time they started a new season, regardless if they brought home an NCAA championship, he would start with the basics: how to tie your shoe, how to roll down your sock or roll up your sock, how to dribble the ball, because it did not matter how great you think you are. If you're dribbling that ball on the court and your shoe is untied, you sprain your ankle, you're out. You're out for the entire season chances, right? So he always get back to the basics. And that is exactly what I want to offer you guys today. A very special offer for you participants only for the participants, my introductory course, Bootcamp for Day Trading. So only for you guys, I have the special offer. I want you guys to go right here, right now. Put in http://bootcamp4daytrading.com. You guys are here right now. Just give me those few extra minutes. I want you guys to follow along to see exactly what you will get. So $97 one time. This is not a recurring fee. You are not going to be charged again one time. And I'm going to show you everything that you get for $97. First and foremost, go here with me so you can follow along, and also take a screenshot of this so that you guys could go to it later if you cannot enter it right now. Okay, let's see what $97 can get you guys today as the same return on your investment. Do you guys like to play golf? Me and my husband used to love to play golf. When we first moved to Guatemala, it used to be, I think, $25 per person. This was like 17 years ago. Before we left 2 years ago, it was $119 per person in Guatemala. You guys like to go out for lunches or dinners and take your family and friends out? I don't know about you guys, but it was just my 22nd anniversary for me and my husband, and we went out to eat. We're not big eaters, so we just enjoyed the hors d'oeuvres and glasses of wine. That was more than $97. Okay, so let me break down exactly what you guys are going to be getting for the $97. First of all, we are going to get past the issue with your software and your equipment, right? Because I know a lot of times it could be very complex or even frightening to figure out how to use your platform. So we break it down. There's a tutorial, boom, you guys are up and running so that you do not have to worry about this at all. And then we dive deep into the market anatomy and understanding the dissection of those trends and movements, upwards trend, downward trend, but most importantly, really focusing on the sideways trends and understanding how to work with the reversals and the divergences. Because once you know that, the aha moments they're just going to be amazing. Okay, then we really understand and get into the support and resistance areas and my personal favorite, divergences. Divergences are absolutely amazing. They're my holy grail. And the best part of it all, it's free. You could use it on any instrument and on any charting software. And they are incredibly highly indicative of what is about to come. Okay. Then after you understand how all that works, understanding support and resistance areas, divergences, we will now focus on mastering the breakout. Because the power of the breakout trade is where you will start to truly see your profits and understand how to spot those breakouts, how to avoid the fake out breakouts, because fake out breakouts happen, but they are avoidable. And once you understand how to do it, you won't have any problems whatsoever. You'll be able to understand when it's a real breakout versus a fake out breakout. All of this, plus you have unlimited access to the curriculum for life for free, priceless. All of this is valued at $1,600. You guys get it for $97. All of this that you will be getting. So I want to tell you a little bit about my students because I have students all over the world. That's the beauty of trading. Okay, Michelle, I just finished the boot camp. Best money I ever spent. Derek, you are the only mentor that truly checks her work. Adrian, I am enjoying your boot camp. I am learning new stuff every day. Now, I want to go back to something super important. Remember when I asked you, how do you know you are doing it right? Who is there to help you understand if you are doing the correct, if you are understanding what your chart is telling you? So I am included in that $97, one entire month, completely included for free, one-on-one coaching and feedback with me. I will be your mentor. You could send me unlimited questions, charts, you name it, for 1 month. That is included in that $97. Okay? Because having a mentor could be what will take you to that next stop. All right, guys? All of this is $97. I want you guys to go right here, http://bootcampfordaytrading.com. Go here right now. Okay, so I have a question. Is there a difference between support and resistance and supply and demand? Do you even know what supply and demand really is? Can you gauge it? I don't even think of those because I don't care what the supply or the demand is. Usually supply and demand is more focused on volatility, right? Because if it's a slow moving market, the supply and demand is going to be slow. However, you will still be able to spot the support and resistance area. And then you won't have to worry about what is actually happening because you'll be able, as far as how much supply and how much demand is going on. That gets so complex and it becomes more emotional because then you're, well, some people are, there's more supply versus more demand. It's emotional, but support and resistance, wait, those are areas the market is respecting. I'm going to sit out and wait until it either transitions or it breaks through. It's so much easier that way. And we want to keep it simple, guys. We want to keep it simple. Otherwise, it just becomes too complicated. Okay? So here's what you guys will get for that $97. Everything in the course, 30 days one-on-one mentorship with me. And also I have a live trade chat room that I am personally the one in the room, and we will be implementing everything that we are learning. And this is on top of the mentorship. All of this is worth less than one price of a trade. I don't know about you guys, but we all know the average trade is usually between $200 to $400, right? So this is all less than the price of one trade. And the cost of this course will 10x your return on your investment so that you can take your family out for 100 of these dinners. The thing is, because of my mentorship, I'm only able to take on 25 students. The room right now is full, and I have to admit, because of the $97, it's a no-brainer. I do sell out pretty fast. So I would just recommend going for it. The education alone and working with me, you will completely take your trading to that next level. Just go for it. This is what you guys will see when you are in the boot camp for day trading. Just 1 second here. I'm trying to figure out how to share with you what I'm about to. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. So you're going to put in bootcampfordaytrading.com and it will bring you to this order form. Okay. This is the order form that you are going to be in right here. And you can see right here, $97 one-time fee. If you really do need a payment plan, I have it for 2 times, but the second you make the first payment, you get automatic instant access to the entire program. Okay. So again, because I have only space for 25 people, I really recommend just go in here right now and let's get you guys on to that next level where you are consistent. Okay. If you have any questions, please let me know. And once again, bootcampfordaytrading.com. Israel, I personally trade stocks. Futures, but I am also swing trading stocks, right? So when you day trade, you are fully in right there in the moment, but you could use the exact same understanding of the charts for swing trading. And I use it for both. I love both. And so, yeah, all of what I'm teaching could be used for absolutely any market that you are interested in, but you do need to choose the market that you want to be fully focused on. All right, guys, let me know if there's any other questions. And again, bootcampfordaytrading.com. And I'm here to help you. You get 30 days one-on-one with me, asking all of your questions, showing me your charts, really understanding. Okay, guys, thank you so very much for your time, for spending it with us here. Really appreciate it. And if there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your day. Hasta pronto. Thank you very much, everybody.